Hey hi everyone, this is Mukesh Otwani from learn-automation.com. In this video, we are going to talk about a new feature, or I will say a new locator which has been added in Selenium 4, and I found it very useful, and you will also love this locator after using it. So let me show you what exactly I mean by new locator which has been added. So if I go back to my Chrome browser and if I just go to this seleniumhq.org, and if I go to download section, the moment I click on changelog, you will get this link which is nothing but the complete history or the changelog of the Selenium versions which we have. So if you see, the alpha 3 have a new locator called relative locator, and they are also given usage how you have to use this locator. So this concept, it is very new for Selenium, but this kind of locator already Catalan has, and we have seen in the previous videos how Catalan use the relative locators. But now this locator got added in Selenium 4 and we will be using it. And trust me guys, I literally liked this relative locator and I found it useful, so definitely I will be including this locator in my current framework as well. So you can see this is part of one of the class called relative locator. So we have a new class, so we will be using this class, and the usage will be, you need to start with the tag name and then you can use all the other methods which I will be discussing now. So if you're new to my channel and if you have not subscribed to my channel till now, so hit the subscribe button, and I will be posting this kind of videos in future as well. So let me show you the new class which we have. So this is the Selenium official Git repo which we have, and you can see under support, under locator package, we have a relative locator test.java. So this is actually the basic test which Simon has written how to use this locator. So you can see we need to use like with tag name, and we can use this above, below, nearby. So I will be showing all this method. So just stay with me for next 10 minutes and I will show you the different usage of relative locators and you can implement after this video. So let me switch back to my Eclipse and let me create a fresh package, and this package I will give, let's say, new locator, and let's create a fresh class, and this class name I will give new locator demo. I'm taking public static void main. You can take JUnit or testng as well. And just to save some time, I already have the driver location, so I will simply do the copy paste and let me start a new session. So I will say WebDriver equal to new Chrome driver. So in the last video I already discussed that we have total 8 locators. So this is the new locator which got added from Selenium 4, and just to show you that I have latest version, so in case if you have not updated, you will not get this class. So in order to use this feature, make sure you use Selenium 4 alpha 3 version. So if I go back again, this is only present from alpha 3. This was not there in alpha 2 and alpha 1 as well. So just make sure you update your Selenium version. See, right now this is my application and I have login, username, password, and the button and links. Now let's say I want to click on this login button. Now the problem with this login button is, let's assume, since this is a stable application, but let's assume that the text on this button is changing. Now it is login, tomorrow it is sign in, again let's say it is log space in, and next day again it is saying join me. So this text is getting changed very frequently. The moment you do right click inspect, right now again ID is stable, btn login, but tomorrow it is changing btn login 1, btn login 2, or any other ID. It is changing dynamically. So I want such kind of locator where I don't want to give any property of this button, and I just want to use their neighbors, like make sure it is above my forget your password link and it is below this password field, or it is near to this logo. This is one example. I'm not giving the proper locators of this login button, so I will be saying that this is the button I have or the tag, but it is below my password field and it is above this link. So even though everything is changing for this button, but these elements are not changing, right? So you don't have to struggle much for this particular button. Or let's take another example. The moment I log into this particular application and I want to click on this marketplace. And let's assume again this is little dynamic, IDs are dynamic, text is also changing, but I know it will always come before this welcome admin. So I can give that find a link which is first, or it is before the welcome admin text. So I'm giving it the relative locations. So in this case we have to use this locator. And if you talk about another real-time example, let's say you have to find me, okay, and my locations is little dynamic. So you can give something like for find this guy who always teach about Selenium or the automation. So you're giving the relative locators, right, or positions or some additional attributes about me. So let me show you the example how to use it. Again, it's not mandatory to use this, but if you have such kind of web elements which have the always changing IDs and attributes, you can use this relative locators. Definitely it will add the stability of your test. I have to implement this. I implemented this for a couple of my tests, and I have to create a concrete library where I can use this efficiently. Okay, so let me pass the application URL, and we have this application which you have to use. Now let me use that locator, but before jumping into that locator, let me enter some username to this particular input box. So I will say by ID, and I will be using this send keys. Now I can also enter the password. So let's quickly enter the password, and for the login button I will be using the relative locator. So again here I will use the direct locator. We have the IDs here, and let's say this is also admin123. I want to log in. So now this time I will be using a relative locator. In order to do that, you don't have to say by now, you just write relative locator and press control space. So you can see it is coming from a support package. This is the package, guys, org.openqa.selenium-support.locators, and the moment you put dot operator, it has a static method called tag name. So it is mandatory that you have to use the tag name in order to use a relative locator. So this is how it has been mentioned in the documentation, that you have to use like this, and then you can use all this above, below, and other methods. So in our case, what we need to do, we need to click on this button. So if you just inspect this particular button, the tag is input. So let's use the input, and the moment you fill this detail, if you put dot, now you can see these other details which is coming. So these are the methods which they already given. So you can see above. Above has two variations. Either you can use by class or directly web element. Same goes with below. You can also give this is below this web element, or you can give nearby. For near, they have four methods. The first two methods is using by class and web element. And since we don't have the exact location, so you can also get the distance in pixels. Can you see this? So you can use this by locator with pixel and near locator with web element in pixel, and the remaining is left and right. So basically they have five: above, below, left, right, and the near. So what I will do, I will say this login button is below the password field. This is what I will do now. So I will say this is below. Now I can use bilocator or web element. So let me use bilocator, because just now we use the ID, right? So I will say find input tag which is below the password field, and you just need to do a click event. And if you're getting confused, then let me show you. Find elements always return a web element, so we will store this in a web element variable, and let's say this is my login button, and I will say login dot click. That's all. Now the moment you say right click run as Java application, it should do a login functionality. So enter username, password, and it clicked on login button. That's why you're able to see the dashboard page. So it's working fine, and you can see how easy it is to use this relative locator. Okay, so make sure you first give the tag, and then you continue with below and above, left and right. Now another question, can we use multiple methods here like below and above? Yes, you can. The more locators you give, right, the more, below, above, left, right, it will be more accurate. Okay, so you can also use again above, and you can also give to left and to right. You can give n number of it, depends on your requirement. So because there's no restriction from Selenium side. Now if you go back to the examples which we already have, they directly use with tag name. Okay, so what you can do, if you don't want to use relative locators every time, you can import this package in static mode. Okay, so if you see our code right now, it comes like this, right? So if you directly wants to use, so what you can do, you can make this as static and you can put dot star. So you don't need to use this related locators every time. Now you can directly say driver.find elements with tag name and all this. Clear? Now you should ask me this question that Mukesh, how this chaining is working, because what is this class, how it is working. So let me open this particular class. Okay, it is downloading the source code, so let's wait for a few seconds and you will be able to see the source code. Yeah, the moment you see this, it's a separate class and it has one method which is static called with tag name. That's why you're able to call relative locators dot tag name, because it's a static. Now very interesting thing, what it does, it returns the object of relative by class. Okay, and that's the reason you're able to call these methods directly with that object, because it returns the object of relative by, and then you can say dot above, dot below, and dot below, dot to left, to right. So this is what the source code. This is only if you're interested how it works, but when it comes to functionality, the whatever syntax I showed you, either you can use with relative locators class, or if you don't want to use it again and again, import as a static and you can use it. Okay, so this is what about the relative locator class. Now you should again ask one question, that this is working fine with one element. What if I have multiple web element, then how this will work? So let me create another program where I will show you how you can use find elements method with relative locators. You can also call this as a friendly locator, because if you go back to this particular, the GitHub repo, Simon has changed. Previously they have written something called friendly locator, and finally he renamed it to relative locators. So as you can see the commit which he has given, okay, just a second, because the feedback, okay, just to put mouse over again, if you open this commit ID, feedback I have had is that it's a better name. So they simply changed from friendly locator to relative locators, and this is how they have changed. So earlier they had something like this and they changed like this, and few more modification in the code which they did. So previously if you see, they had class name called by friendly locator, they changed to relative locators. In a similar way they changed everything from friendly by to relative by. So let's call it relative as per Simons, and now let's go back to our second program. In this program I will take one example where we will using find elements. So I will say find elements, and again since we have done this in a static way, I will say with tag name, and just guys remember I'm using find elements. So where I can use this, if you go back to the Chrome, this is what we have. I have 4 social media icon here, which is LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter and YouTube. My requirement is I need to identify these 4 links are present, images are present, or the count should be 4, or this is clickable, it can be anything. But my main motto is I need to verify this social media icons. So as I know this, they are below this link, right? So what I will do, first I will find these are the tags. So this is, if you see, these are actually images. So my first role is, I will say, find a image which is below dot, just a second, yeah, which is below, and it is below to this orange HRM link, right? So I will use this locator. So I will write a quick XPath for this. So the XPath which I will write, that find a anchor link which has a text called orange HRM. So you can see it is able to identify. Now I will say this. So what I did, I said find a tag with image which is below this particular web element. So as usual, this will also return me list of web elements. This we already discussed in our previous videos, that how find elements work. And here I will say these are social accounts. Now I can play with them. I can extract all the details. So first thing which I will do, I will check the total count. So I will say total count is 4. So just put size here and you will get output as 4, and I will just say total count is this. And let's say I want to iterate all these web elements one by one, and I just want to print their URLs. For the time being I'm just printing, but you can do whatever validations you want, or I can just print their alternate text. You can see this, right? We have src, we have alternate text. So what I will do, I will say I will run a for each loop, and I will say every time it will iterate me a web element, and it has to iterate social accounts list. Every time I will get a ELE, and what I will do, I will say just capture one attribute which is ALT, which is nothing but alternate text. So let's run this code and let's see what it returns. And just let me maximize it. Driver dot manage dot windows dot maximize. Okay, so if you are attending interviews, guys, then do not stick to only the 8 locators which we have. If you are adding this new locator, okay, trust me, it will create a very good impression that you are updated. Okay, now if I go back, can you see this? Total count is 4, and this is the alternate text, which is LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Now, one small thing which I noticed, the moment you start using relative locators, you will also get this additional log. It only prints on the console, but trust me, it is not impacting. So maybe they are fixing this, or they will be fixing once they will release this officially. As of now, you will get this text. For the time being, just ignore it, because as per our requirement, this locator is working fine. Correct? So I hope you will use this locator, and if you find any issue with this locator, then let me know in the comment section and I will try my best to answer this. Now another important thing which I want to discuss about this particular class, just go back here, related locators. Just a second. Yeah, it's not electricity. So if you want to see exactly how it works, so internally this locator which we used, it uses one JavaScript method which I want to show you. So in JavaScript we have one method called get bounding client rectangle. Okay, so what it does, this method will return you the object's property. So what it does, it returns these 8 properties when you call this method. So it will return you all the 8 properties or of that particular element, like left, right, top, bottom, xy coordinate, width, height, everything. So the moment you use that method, it internally uses this method and it gives you all these details. So if you really want to know how it works, just give me one more minute and I will show you how you can use this method just from your side. So what I will do, this is, I will write a small code that for this particular. So I will say document dot get element by ID. Let's say I will take this particular ID which we used in our last demo. We use this text username. Okay, you can see we found the web element. Now if I call this method dot get bound client rect, the moment you hit enter, can you see we got all these details, which is, the XY coordinates, width, height, everything. So internally that method use this JavaScript method, and based on this information it does the calculation and it gives you the exact web element. So this is how internally it works, if you, in case if you want to know. But in case if you don't want to get in depth, just go ahead and use that method. It's working fine as of now. And in case if you are planning to attend interviews, even if they're asking the 8 locators, you can also add one more locator from your side, that I also found out one new method which is coming, or locator is coming in Selenium 4, and it will definitely create a good impression. So that's all I have for this video, guys. If you like this video, hit the like button, share with your friends, and subscribe to my channel, and I will keep uploading this kind of videos. Have a nice day. Bye bye.